What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Life Coach Zach podcast. Today on the episode, I have a very, very special guest, my Ironman coach, Philip Billikopf, triathlete, Ironman coach, two-time Ironman World Championship qualifier. Phil, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks, Zach. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You know, training for Ironman obviously is a huge time commitment. And you've been working with me over the past, I guess at this point, like 8 months, getting me ready, sharpening my skills for Ironman. Obviously, I ended up finishing 16 hours and 18 minutes, which was 40 minutes faster than my projected 17-hour finishing time. And dude, I want to say one thing on the record, dude. I could not have done it without you. And I mean that. You really shortened the learning curve for me. I knew nothing going into Ironman. And if it wasn't for hiring a coach like you, I may not have finished. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I really appreciate it. And I really like, how you put a lot of work into everything you do and, all the motivation and just, signing up for a full Ironman with not knowing anything about triathlon or, even doing a short distance triathlon before is huge. And that says a lot about you. So, I'm really proud of everything that happened to you. It's a very tough sport. It's a very hard race to do, well-trained. And in your situation, you broke you had an injury a week coming into the event. I thought you were going to drop out. It would have been the most natural thing to do. And you went for it, you finished it, and you got it done. So, congrats on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was like, you know what? This could be my only opportunity of doing an Ironman. I don't know what the future holds, and I'm not going to let a fractured wrist get in my way, but I want to learn more about you on the podcast today, dude. Phil, how did you get into Ironmans and triathlons in the first place?
Well, so I come from a, family with a big sports background. My dad actually he does a lot of cycling. He cycled like all around the world. So there's two things that I kind of he really promoted or wanted to show to us when we were small. One was sports, specifically cycling, all sports, but with a bigger emphasis in cycling, and then traveling, right? So he's traveled all around the world, and same case with me right now. It's one of my big passions apart from triathlon, and it's why I like it so much is they go like pretty hand together. You go to races around the world. Obviously now with the pandemic, it's gotten a little complicated, but for me, traveling, meeting new people, new cultures, new food, just the fact of getting out there and new places is amazing. So those are like my two passions, and they go pretty hand together. So my dad, I'm the first out of eight, because I'm the first out of eight. My dad married again, and each time one of us would turn 7, he would take us on a cyclotourism trip. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically tent, panniers on the back, camping, wherever you land, pretty much. Obviously, in places like Europe, the U.S., Australia, New Zealand, there's pretty solid camping spots, and you can kind of plan around that. But other places like Africa and Asia is not the case, or Latin America. So he would take us, to a specific destination in the world and bike around for 2 months, cover like 1,500 miles or more. And, it was a pretty, life-changing experience when you're 7 years old and, you get to ride around the world in places like Morocco or Scandinavia, in Europe. It's just like, it's a very, life-changing experience, and you learn a lot out of it. So I think that's one of the things that really, got me into having sports in my life, and also, traveling and meeting new people, cultures, and having that to be such an important part of my life. That's how I got into sports. And so, naturally, like I've always been cycling, done road biking, cyclotourism, mountain biking. And, when I was about like 23 years old or 24, when I had, just started working, I started running, and it came very natural. Like I'd never really trained much, and, I felt I was pretty fast. One day I signed up for a half marathon. I think I did like 1:29 without really training or not training properly for it, just, going out and running and hammering every session. And you know how it is. That's not the way that you train. And I learned the hard way. And basically, I did a pretty good time in that marathon, that half marathon. So I was like, you know what, like started getting more into running. And at one point, I saw that typical like Ironman video from Kona, and that I think that's like a hook for many people. And I
Yes.
was like, okay, I need to get there one day. I need to do triathlon. I suck at swimming. I still do. It's a work in progress. So I obviously work a lot in that and the other disciplines as well. But I was like, okay, I need to get there. So I, just like you, signed up for 2 Ironmans, half, not full. So you were a little bit, you pulled the trigger a little earlier than I did. I signed up for 2 half Ironmans, but I did the wrong decision. I had the wrong decision, and I didn't look for a coach. So I started training by myself. And I got to my first half. I did okay. It was pretty good. It was right, around 5 hours, which is pretty decent for a half. And then on my second one, I did better. And then I was like, okay, I'm going for a full. So I signed up for a huge, like for about 6 more halves. Did a whole year of racing halves, and signed up for my first full. All this, on my own, just doing my own research, hammering every session, going fast, doing a lot of volume. And I finished my first full, which was right about in the 10-hour mark
Wow.
with a flat included.
Incredible.
And I thought I knew it all. I was like, okay, I'm signing for another full. I'm going to qualify to Kona.
Mhm.
And that year I had also qualified for my first 70.3 Worlds in Chattanooga here in the US, 2017. And right after that, I had my second full, which was in Malaysia. And long story short is, going back to what we're talking about, just, not really knowing what I was doing. I was really hammering each session, going really hard, a lot of volume, and I got injured, really bad injury. And, I got to Malaysia. I'm going to do this race anyways. And I had to DNF. So it's my only DNF. I got to the marathon. I was third off the bike and I just couldn't walk. And I knew I was with an injury, but I was like, okay, like I'm going to get it done anyways. And that's where I really learned my lesson. And I was like, okay, I learned the hard way, traveling to a far destination, spending a lot of money, training anyways, because I was, swimming and biking a whole bunch anyways. And, the whole frustration of having to DNF from a race, like, it's my only time DNFing from a race. I hope it never happens again. I've been about to, and this is, kind of a situation that I go back to and I say, like, I don't want to live that again. It haunts me every day. And it's a race destination that I want to go back there and really like nail that race and make up for what happened. Right. So after that, I was working in London at that time in the financial industry. And I was like, okay, I need a coach. I'm putting a lot of time, money, investment in this. And, I think I have, pretty solid potential, but I need to, work with someone that knows, what they're doing. So that's when I reached out and I met Reese Barkley. He's Lucy Charles' husband and coach. So, I started working with him, and that's where I really saw a huge, started seeing huge gains and a real change in my training, and really started learning about, how to train, what I was doing wrong. And, this was probably like the biggest, the biggest change in my career as an amateur triathlete, um, performance wise, and also, in a professional wise, because this was really what, I started doing well in races, qualified for 70.3 Worlds, qualified for my first Kona with him. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Like, this is my life. I love doing triathlon. I love traveling. I love the races. I love getting out there and meeting the people, the feeling of finishing a race, the friends that you make on the way, the whole process of training, right? Um, it was like, this is what I really vibe for. This is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be spending time looking at, the stock market every day on my computer. This is not what I really love, right? So, and to be honest, like London is a great city. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but like that's not the kind of weather that I would ideally like to spend the rest of my life in, right?
Mhm.
So, took a decision, left everything, came to California and started my job around, triathlon coaching. We also have a media agency where we handle, social media accounts for brands in the industry. ambassador program. So it's everything related to triathlon. And today, I can basically train, do my work, live in a place where there's sunshine pretty much 365 days a year. So it's a pretty big change and like the best decision. And I can't thank Reese enough because like not only he was my coach, but I think he opened a lot of doors to me that, and I learned so much through him and with him that, it opened a lot of doors that not only in a performance or as an athlete, I could, see the benefit, but also professional wise and making, it definitely influenced in the decision that I made and how I wanted to, change my career or the path that I was taking.
Yeah. Amazing, dude. Incredible story, bro. Like being blessed to travel so young and having a father figure that really promoted physical activity and traveling. That's so cool. That's so cool. And now you have your own business, Mountain Endurance, right? Which is the company that you started, that you own, that I train with. I'm part of the team. We have a private Facebook group, and you write training plans for me, and you help me strategize for not only training but race day, from race day nutrition to race day fueling, and continuing to pay it forward, dude. Like you're changing lives, just like I'm changing lives, life coaching. You're changing lives through helping people run Ironman. And this is something I admire you a lot. I admire you a lot, and I respect you leaving London to move to California to start this journey. And I admire you for just like living the life you want to live, dude. You didn't let anything stop you. And this is still just the beginning, bro. This is still just the beginning. And that's incredible, man. So like for the normal person that's listening right now, that isn't like super athletic, that isn't going to qualify for Kona, but they're thinking about maybe trying, maybe not an Ironman, but a triathlon. What's some words of wisdom you can give someone who, is interested in getting into the triathlon world?
Okay. So before I start answering that question, I want to go back to something you just said, before you formulated the question. I was hearing the podcast you did with Noel a couple of weeks ago. Noel is one of our coaches in the team. He's a top athlete. We're really good friends. He qualified to Kona in Tulsa. I'm really stoked about his, performance. He's one of our top coaches in the team. And I heard him asking you, like, Zach, because you said you wanted to do 12 Ironmans, right? To qualify to
The
Kona.
legacy
And
program.
he's like, Zach, why don't you, train your ass off and get there, by qualifying times. And what I want to say about why this kind of I kept them thinking about it. I was like, this is the same way I feel, right? And I feel you have the potential for that. But it's funny because you asked me this question right now, where you're like, yeah, just for athletes that want to begin and not qualifying, like Kona qualifying athletes, because I feel that you put like Kona qualifiers in like, I don't know, like in a place where it's like something that's unreachable, but that's not the case. And that's the whole, or the biggest part that I love about this sport. This is not a sport that, pays off if you're like very talented or, you have a special talent. This is for hardworking people. And like, I don't have a swimming background. And, it's just putting the miles, doing the work, day after day, week after week, year after year. This is not, a 5-month process. Like some people think, yeah, I'll train for months. And no, this is year after year, putting the work, and the hardworking people are the ones that get, really rewarded, and it pays off. So this is not a sport that you need like a special talent, like, I don't know, like maybe skateboarding or like soccer. Like, I don't know. You don't, of course, talent is going to help you, but if you're hardworking, that's going to be talent at the end of the day. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's not something that's, unachievable, like qualifying to Kona. I think, many people who really, put in the work day after day, like, it's something that can be done. And going back to your question and answering it more specifically, I think the first step is one, you know, get a coach, have clear goals. If you don't know much about the sport, you're getting into it, you need to be properly guided, have some goals. I love it how you just sign, like you, Zach, for yourself, you just sign up for a race and go for it, because it doesn't have to be a race. It can be, shave off a couple of minutes from a 5K, run time trial, or maybe, I don't know, 21K half marathon, or just, your watts per kilo when you're biking. Just have like some goals that are attainable in a short period of time, a medium, and then on the long term, right? And work towards those. Because if you don't have any goals, it's really hard to, you know, the motivation gets only up to a certain point, you know. Then there's days you're not going to want to wake up and train, and you're not going to want to get it done. But it's, you know, that, you know, grit, that, you know, pushing every day and having those goals in the back of your head. You know, like I just raced 2 Ironmans in a month. Like I didn't want to. I trust me, I didn't want to race this weekend. I didn't want to race. I didn't put in social media. I didn't. I told a couple people, including you, like I didn't tell anyone. And if you ask me, did you really want to race? No, I didn't. I didn't want to race. I was tired. I just raced a month ago. But, you know, my goal for this year was to be in Kona, and I was going to do whatever was in my hands to do it. And I got there, and to be honest, I had a blast, man. I had a blast. And it was such a tough day out there, 105 degrees. By the run, people were vomiting on the run course. Like you'd see, like you probably saw it, like Lionel Sanders, you know, one of the best athletes in the world, walking the run course. It was brutal, but you know, just seeing everybody out there, you know, pushing their limits, helping each other, like volunteers, people around the streets hosing you, you know, throwing water with the hoses, you know, giving out ice. It's just something that, you know, it's amazing. Like I'm really stoked about, you know, what just happened this weekend.
Dude,
So
amazing.
um, and a community, get involved with people like you're saying. You know, we have a pretty solid community of athletes all around the world. You know, we meet up in races, and you know, even with COVID, when you know it wasn't possible to meet up, you know, there's a very strong community aspect, even through a Facebook group, or you know, like chats by WhatsApp or Instagram. And you know, we've basically created a community of people who don't even know each other personally, but like, you know, like Alicia, she's one of our coaches. Like I never met her personally, and I just met her this weekend in Coeur d'Alene. And the first time I saw her, you know, we hugged, and it was like we knew each other from like forever, you know. So I think being involved with the community is key to like have people support you, and you know, share knowledge and share your struggles, share your you know your wins, your losses, everything, right?
Dude, that support system is massive, man. It really is. It's so influential to your success because we're all on the same path. We're all on the same journey, just trying to get better, whether it's shaving off a couple hours or qualifying for Kona or just finishing an Ironman like me. You know, we're all in it together. We all want the same thing, and having that support system around you is it really does make all the difference, dude. It really makes all the difference. And this Ironman changed my life. It really changed my life. Just going head first into it, and the time management skills and learning more about nutrition and fueling, getting good sleep, you know, making sure I get my work done so I can train, and planning my day around my long bike rides, right? And like my swims and my runs. And it's something that I want to do forever too. And like you're inspiring me even more to like really double down on my training and really put in a little extra effort so I could maybe shave off a couple hours in Cozumel in November and feel a little bit more confident if I were to really want to put in the time to qualify for Kona. But as of right now, my goal is to go 12 for 12 in Ironmans, go 12 for 12, whether it's 17 hours or 11 and a half hours. I just want to finish, and I want to finish feeling strong. I'm doing this to like, just so everyone knows, like my motivation, I'm not trying to be, you know, a top age grouper. I'm not trying to, you know, go to Kona. I'm doing this because I want to feel good. I want to feel like I have high energy levels. I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want to like be flexible and mobile and fast and feel strong. And in order to do that, you got to push yourself, but you also got to recover properly, right? So, you know, obviously someone like you who trains so much, what has been the most impactful or most important non-negotiable recovery activity that you do on a daily or weekly basis?
Well, as we speak, I don't know if you if you can hear that noise, but I'm basically wearing the Normatec boots
Here.
right now, which for me are key. Like I'll put those and I'll just sit down on the couch, work. You know, I'll get stuff done, like you know, and just sit there. Then you know, number one I think would be sleep. You know, it's free, and it's probably the most effective one by far. Three, nutrition. You know, like many athletes get in the whole like weight kind of, you know, okay, let's cut down this, cut down that. And I think nutrition is key. You know, eating good meals and in a timely manner, you know, not skipping your meals, eating throughout the day, I think that's key for recovery. Very important. What else? Well, there's a bunch of toys. Like different toys, like massage
Yeah.
guns, whatever. It's a lot of stuff. And then sports massage or physio. I feel like that's really really important. I've gotten sports massage since I started doing triathlon, but I started working with one of our team members here. He does a active release technique, which is basically, you know, he puts the pressure in the parts where you're really tight, and then it kind of like he helps you like stretch and loosens up. And it's something that I've never really done before. Like I've just gotten like people work on me like sports massage, but this is like it's really important to take care of all those angles like you were saying. It's not about really putting the hours in and then hammering the race. There's so many things involved in really performing and feeling good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And stretching, which I don't do. So that's something that I don't really do much, and I know I should. I think it's like you're saying. Flexibility is key, not only for performing well, but for feeling good in your training sessions. And that's something I need to work with. But it's time, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah, man.
you need to
You got to
prioritize.
prioritize. So I have Cozumel coming up November 21st. Are you racing with me?
I'm about to take that decision. Actually, I landed yesterday here. I need to take that. I need to make a decision of what's going to happen, but there's a big chance that I will. There's a couple other athletes from the team going, so
But
yeah. I
isn't
mean, there's a big
Kona
chance.
is in October, right? Okay.
Yes,
October what? October
9th.
9th. Okay. Amazing. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So you're what, taking a couple weeks off and then you're getting right to training for Kona or what?
No, I'm just taking like 2 days. Like probably, I'll be back at it like tomorrow. I'll probably like go swim
Okay,
easy, and
cool.
I'll
Good
be
stuff,
back at
man.
it. Yeah.
So from now
Yeah.
until Kona, gonna stick to the plan. Run 3, 4 days a week, bike 3 days a week, swim 5 days a week. Make sure I get that sleep. Follow the plan. Trust the process. The mental toughness aspect of it. I think I have a good grip on, but I could always be better. Always be mentally tougher. Dude.
I think the most important thing, Zach. I was talking on the car yesterday when we landed in Orange County with one of my athletes. He qualified to Kona as well, so it was a pretty emotional and special day for me because, not only I qualified, but there's a long story. I'll make it short, but basically, I met this guy in the middle of the pandemic when all the pools were shut down, and we were kind of struggling because this is a big part of our life, and all races were, shutting down, and not only that, but people weren't able to see each other, pools were closed, and I had just moved here, and I saw that this guy was swimming in a lagoon pretty close to me. I was like, man, where are you swimming? I need to swim. So we started swimming together, 4 times a week. And, all Ironmans were canceled last year with the exception of like a few, which one of them was Cozumel, right? We're both going for the Kona slot. And, we both had a terrible race. It's very tough there. And, there's some nutritional mistakes that we both made. And I started coaching him this year, right after Cozumel. And, it's just like we've kind of been through that whole journey and process together to qualify, done our training sessions. So like this weekend was not only a win for me as an athlete, qualifying to my second Kona, but it was even more you know of an emotional day because like I was waiting for him. We kind of battled the race together. It all came down to a run. I overtook him in the first lap, but in my head I was like not only worried about my race but also worried that he would nail his race and he qualified as well. So when we were talking in the car, it was like the thing in this whole thing, it's not only about that race day and the result and the Kona qualifying. Like that comes by itself when you're really like enjoying the process and looking forward to each workout every day and really nailing each workout, week after week, month after month. So like some people get a little bit lost in that and like they're not really enjoying. They see the workout, and, oh man, like I don't want to get this done. Yeah, there's days it's gonna happen. It's normal. You're not gonna want to go to the pool every morning. Like there's days that you're gonna be tired, but it's just enjoying that and really embracing those 1K reps, suffering and enjoying that because you do it for a reason. So I think that's one of the key things in being successful in the sport. And when I mean successful is finishing a race, shaving off some time, podium or whatever it is. It's really enjoying the process. So I think that's going to be key for you and for anyone listening, for their next races.
Enjoy the process. Make it fun. Make it fun,
Exactly.
dude. Love it, man. Phil, dude, it was incredible, like, working with you this whole time. Going to continue to work with you, obviously. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with today? Any last words?
Just encourage people who are hearing this, and I've seen a lot of people even comment on your, when after your race, like they see this as something that's unachievable, so different, like so difficult to do. It's something that I think anyone can do. Like you'll see people like 80-year-old guys on course killing it, overtaking guys my age that are walking. So it's like anyone can do it, anyone, and it's just getting getting motivated, getting it done, signing up like you did, and then getting correct help. Working with people that know what they're doing. But I think anyone can do it. Like you've said, like it's such a life-changing experience for so many people. It's such a good way to, like you said, manage your time and get a lot of good things out of it. So apart from getting fitter and faster, which comes pretty natural with it, but there's a lot of good things. So I encourage everybody to get into a sport, not only triathlon, just running or just being active. That would be my key.
Definitely good for our physical and our mental health. I mean, obviously exercise should be a non-negotiable in everyone's life. So if you're going to exercise, why not run a marathon? Why not run a half Ironman, full Ironman, qualify for Kona, right? All these things are,
or even a 5K or 10K, man. It's just, getting out there and meeting people, doing exercise. Like you said, it's not only physical, it's also, about mental health, and especially these days. It's a crazy world and crazy times that we're going through. So I think, it's key. It's cheaper than therapy, like we say. So, or I'm not too sure if it's cheaper, but it's definitely better. It's definitely fun.
You said, especially in this time, we could all use it for sure. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and follow Phil on Instagram at Billikopf, PBILLIKOPF. Shoot him a DM. Let him know that you listen to this podcast. Ask him any questions about Ironman. Super nice guy, if you can't tell. Would be happy to help anyone out. And if you are watching on YouTube, I will link not only Phil's Instagram below, but a link to mountainendurance.com, so you guys can check out all the stuff and potentially sign up and get ready for your first Ironman as well. Phil, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Congratulations on qualifying for Kona. Looking forward to following you on that. I'll be tracking you on the app, and I'll probably talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'll be in touch.
Sounds good.